Melodies. What I'm going to show you guys today is how to make samples that you yourself can either just go in and chop up, or you can use as is. Really up to you and what you end up creating. I'll show you guys a lot of cool different tips and tricks. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's get started. So for this one, I use a BPM of 100. It's really kind of up to you what you want to use. Just look at what song you like. First sound I ended up using is a sound called Good Morning. It's from my bank Blacklights. Next, all I did was I layered it, and this sound is called Toronto. It's from my bank Grailed. All you need to do a chord progression like this is, if you look here, it's really just 2 chords and then 1 change up towards the end. This right here is really just this exact same chord, drop down 7, and this is actually the 4th for this chord. So this is like a 1-4 chord progression. At the end, just to keep it a little bit interesting, I went and added this other chord right here to kind of resolve it. And all I did for that one is just drop this one down 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's how I figured out which chord would resolve it right here. And I didn't throw any effects on either of these instruments, as I kind of made them how I wanted them to sound, so no need for 30 effects on these. Now we're getting into a little bit of the sauce and cool little tricks that you can use. So I went just to both instruments, went to Alt-Y, flip them around, put your pattern on your playlist, go to Control-Alt-C, and you're just gonna convert it into an audio file. Click reverse, and the reason we flipped it opposite direction was just so it would play in the order that we originally had the chord progression. Now to go and make that sound even darker, you just go to Edit and Audio Editor, click on the sample right here, and then we're gonna go and drop this down to 2000. Click Resample and click Tempo Sync, and then just click Accept. And what that's going to do is it's going to take out some of the higher frequencies. Grab this synth from my new bank Summer Nights. It's called Brisk. Then all I did was layer it over the reverse keys. Sounds like dark, eerie, like something is about to happen, but you don't know what. But you're like, oh, something's gonna happen. What's gonna happen? Now you might be thinking to yourself, this seems like really basic. These are just chords. When are we gonna get to interesting stuff? Right now. That's when. Surprise, motherfucker. So the reason why I wanted to keep it so simple though initially is when you're building more complex samples like this, being your chords and stuff like that really simple, you can add tons of different instruments, textures, etc. because there's nothing getting in the way of them. It doesn't make it, you know, overly complex to the point it doesn't make any sense. So first sound I got right here is just this lead sound. It's from Grailed. The reason I chose these little spots right here, I envisioned someone, you know, saying something at the beginning. If this was right here at the beginning, it might throw them off a little bit, right? Like imagine trying to get on a beat and that's just in your way. No thanks. And how I kind of picked out these notes, this is very helpful if you have trouble with counter melodies, so pay attention here. If you look at all of these notes, most of these notes are on the chord, right? They're all part of these chords right here. And then when you feel like a little bit of extra tension, those notes aren't on the chords, but they are in the scale. And then another thing I did is it goes back to the first note that it was playing in the little counter. So for all of these, it starts with E, ends with E. Starts with A, ends with A. Starts with E, ends with E. You get it at this point, hopefully. Overall though, pretty basic. And then you're gonna try and do it and be like, oh. And I've been there, so just keep trying. Eventually you'll figure it out. Next step, I added like a cool little texture, just using In the Stars from Distant Voices. And if you think about it this way, where these pink notes are, this is basically where the arcade's making noise. And so it's not really intersecting with this counter melody right here, except on this A right here, but it's so minimal that I think it sounds good. All right, so then to add kind of like that nice, classic sound to the sample, went in and used arcade again. And this is just the Skyline at Night sound from Chopped. Then next, to really kind of just glue the loop together, I got the black bass. This is my go-to bass line. You guys have seen me use it probably 1,000 times just because it just works and sounds really good. And just drop these on the root notes. What I like to do, and we'll give you a lot more variation, keep it interesting throughout the song. Convert your entire loop into an audio file. Just do the same thing I said earlier. Highlight all this, Control-Alt-C. Go in and open up something like Fruity Slicer. We already got that open. Click right here, set it to beats, move the attack up a little bit, and then just go in and create some dope chops. I went ahead and just did this for you guys real quick because I love you. So, it's a little something like that. Now, when it comes to actually chopping up your loops and getting something that sounds cool like this, I would just keep it relatively simple. Oftentimes, I like to start on the one beat. I know it's going to sound good at the beginning because it sounded good at the beginning of the original sample, right? And then from there, I'll look for something that just sounds good with it. I'm like, oh, okay, those are like contrasting enough that they, sound good. So then we'll go on to the next sound. It sounds like it was almost meant to be that next note right here. Also sounds like it was meant to just be part of this right here. Like right here, this little repetition towards the end, it just fits perfectly because it's all different up to here, and then it repeats, all different over here, then it repeats.